Hey, and welcome to our video tutorial. Today we are going to learn how to set up cascading dropdowns on submission forms, but you can just as easily have the same setup using filtering forms inside your reports. So in my use case, we have 3 different dropdowns, and the whole idea here is to select from the first dropdown, let's say a country, for example, Canada, and then the subsequent dropdown is going to filter the information based on the prior input. So in this case, we have 2 different provinces. You could have more. We have British Columbia and Ontario. So if I select, let's say, BC, then cities underneath that will show based on the previous selection. So let's see how in Caspio we can go ahead and set up these drop-down elements. So in my use case for the video, I have a lookup table. I call it geography. And inside this lookup table, we have 3 different fields. We have country, we have state province, and we have city. And as you can see, for every state or province that you might have, you have to repeat the country name. Also, for every city that you might have, you have to repeat the state name or province. If you add a 4th field, let's say a business, maybe a restaurant, for every restaurant that you might have, you'll have to repeat the city, state, and country as well. So that's how you go about setting up your lookup table. For my second table, since this is a patient intake use case, I have a few fields listed, and at the very bottom, we also have country, state, province, and city. So when the user is filling out the form, the very first field, country, is going to look into the lookup table, and then the subsequent fields are also going to be looking at the lookup table geography, but it's going to be pulling information based on the prior input. So let's go into Designer and see how we can set up that configuration. I already have my form created. Let's go ahead and click on Data Source and Fields. Let's click Next. Here are my 3 fields. For your very first field, all you need to do is set this to be a dropdown, lookup table, select your lookup table that contains your information, and then field for display and value is going to be the country field. So this will be Canada, this will be Australia, USA, depending on how many countries you have in that lookup table. Your second field is also going to be a dropdown, lookup table, select the geography lookup table, and then your field for display and value are going to be province for both of these. Now, the only difference between country and state province is for the state province, you have to go into the filtering tab, enable lookup table filtering, and then lookup field and form field are going to be the country field, which is the one right above. And your final field, which is city, your last but not least field, you might have additional ones. So if I select city, same setup, drop down, lookup table, geography table, you have field for display and field for value are going to be city. And then your filter tab is going to look at the field that's directly above the city field. And that's how you allow cascading elements to flow based on the prior input. You're going to filter data directly underneath based on the selection above. If you're building search forms inside the Flex framework, you're going to set it up exactly the same way as the submission form. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.